He asks Roll how the dagger is. He looks at the dagger on his belt with a smile and says that it is very easy to handle. Miss Nora said it was because the dagger had absorbed his blood. His Eminence says that this is not bad. Winged daggers can unlock new abilities. Roll's dagger is full of holy energy, so it will be fully ready within a couple of days. The man stretches out his hand to the dagger and says that such a high degree of compatibility. The blade has already spawned 2 abilities. The man is in shock. Roll is amazed to think about 2 abilities. His Eminence puts his hand to his cheek with a smile, saying to his little friend with high compatibility, "It looks like the 2 of them are destined to be together." Roll thinks about the high compatibility with this sadistic angel. This is nonsense. Don't talk nonsense. The man puts his hand on Roll's head, saying that he knows what happened at Nora's birthday party. Roll did well. Only a few heirs from noble families have such a just heart. These few decades have really spoiled people's hearts. His Eminence tells Roll that the Escart family has a worthy legacy, but the years have taken a lot away from him. He hopes that Roll will be able to regain the former glory of his family. The man suggests that Roll talk about it next time, and invites him to go to Vespers with him. Roll asks again about heritage and fame. The man asks him to forget about it. Then Roll will worry about it. The opportunity to attend Vespers with the Holy Right Reverend is an opportunity that cannot be missed. Roll answers yes with a smile. His Holiness John Heathcliff is the ruler of the theocracy of Saint Messiah, the head of the Heathcliff family. He is the great leader of the Church of the Goddess, the messenger of God, the first apostle, the hero of the sacred warriors, the exterminator of deviants. He had many titles and was adored by the people. The crowd stands and looks at the man who came out on the balcony shouting, "This is the Right Reverend, the Right Reverend." Roll stands next to John Heathcliff on the balcony and thinks with a smile that being the guest of honor, we can say this is the highest award. Some time later, the day comes, and John Heathcliff and Roll are still standing with their hands raised. There is already snow on them. Roll thinks about what kind of winter this is. A little later, he lies wearily on the bed completely exhausted. Roll says it's finally over. He's so tired. He thinks that at least he got a lot of useful information. But that conversation he should not let Nora find out about him. A maid comes to him and tells the young master that she has a message from his father. He is lying on the bed with his hands behind his head when he sees the girl and asks if he has seen her before and where Anna. The girl replies with a smile that this year His Highness came in very great families to the New Year's hunt. Her father and Mistress Alicia went with the others. They will be back by tomorrow evening.
Anyway, Panda.
In shock, Roll asks again about tomorrow, saying that his father and Alice left him alone to go and have fun. Roll lies down and says that okay, he's too tired, he'll go to bed. The girl can leave, and let him not be there unless something important happens. She bows her head with a smile and says yes. Roll looks at the blue console. He thinks about how empty it is here. If he had known, he wouldn't have come back here. The console says Fierce First Battle. In the dark room under the shadow of the ice blade, he defended his sense of justice with his own hands. 30% discount on all special event items. Freed wings. He freed the silver bird from the cage. Now it has spread its wings to fly without stopping. 40% discount on all special event items. Roll reads all this, thinking that this event has been active for quite some time. Roll had seen He has a lot of money, so he can fork out a little. Roll thinks that this ability, it seems it can be useful, but it has a damn low trigger rate. Roll sits up on the bed in his thoughts. He opens the disaster of bloodshed on the console. It is considered a failure of the Magical Eye Research Society. At a certain distance, those who have the intention to kill in relation to the owner, the name will be displayed in red. But we must remember that it is not worth shouting, and immediately leave the very place. Its price is 42 gold coins. Roll clicks on the buy icon. Immediately, Roll promptly lies back on the bed, covering himself with a blanket. He lays his head on the pillow and pretends to be asleep and has a tense dream. The doors to his room open. This is the maid who came to him earlier. She sees that Roll is asleep. Then, the girl smiles and says that it's time to get started. After some time it took Roll to sleep. The boy woke up because of the rays of the rising sun. Taking a deep breath, Roll rolled over onto his back. The boy wanted to call Anna, the maid of their house, and ask at what hour he woke up, but he did not feel too well. While Roll was trying to open his eyes, suddenly a soft female voice rang through the room. A girl with a warm red tinge of lips replied to Roll that it was already 6 o'clock in the evening. From surprise, the boy began to look for the source of the voice. At arm's length, Roll saw in front of him Nora Zeklai, who was smiling smugly. The girl giggled. Nora was sitting next to the boy, touching him with her feet. Frightened, Roll asked what she had left in his room. Sitting on his lap, while the girl continued to look into his eyes and smile. After a short pause, Nora covered her mouth with her hand and laughed. The girl cheerfully recalled the face that Roll had at the moment when he had just woken up. Satisfied, Nora said that she had not been waiting for the Marquis' son to wake up in vain, trying to get up. Roll asked the girl when she managed to come, and for what reason no one bothered to notify him about the guest.
In Albion, you can be anything you want to be, as everybody has their place in this magical world. Imagine that you are a miner. You are
Approaching the boy's face, Nora told him that all the servants of his house had been replaced by her, and therefore only her people were in this place. The smug girl asked if Roll was surprised by her cunning trick. The tense boy said that there would be very little surprise here, because this is a real kidnapping. Continuing to look into her eyes, Roll asked if the girl could let him go in honor of the new year. Nora got up quickly, but did not get to her feet. The girl's face changed to a slight offense. Nora said that Roll shouldn't be so serious at all, because she was just joking. With a grunt of displeasure, she said that she had come specially to celebrate this new year with Roll, so she also brought sweets. The girl glanced at the door, then called her maid Mia by name. Oddly enough, it turned out to be exactly the girl that Roll himself saw yesterday before going to bed. The maid stretched out her hands to Nora, in which she held a small iron container. The princess stretched out her hand and took one pink candy without a wrapper. Nora turned to Roll and handed him a candy in her right hand while leaning on the bed with her left. Approaching the boy's face, she offered Roll a taste of the treat from her hands. The boy was a little wary and said that the princess really does not miss the opportunity to look at how Roll eats from her hands. In response to this, the girl just chuckled. Nora told Roll to stop making things up, because sweets are an integral part of celebrating the new year. The girl smiled and noted that it was important for life to be as sweet as these candies in the new year. Roll looked away with displeasure, then, squinting slightly, suggested that the princess just toss the candy so that he caught it. After these words, the boy grinned and asked if she was really afraid that she wouldn't be able to. The smug Roll thought that Nora would obviously not be able to compete with him. Contrary to his thoughts, the girl with golden hair threw a candy towards the boy, also calling him with a small command. The boy reacted quickly and caught the candy with deft movements. As soon as the candy was in Roll's mouth, the boy suddenly felt like a little puppy following the commands of his mistress, Nora Zekline. Embittered, Roll wanted to attack the cruel girl, but he could not. Nora closed her eyes and, blushing a little, said that the boy had asked for it himself. Smiling contentedly, she declared that feeding Roll was fun enough. The girl was already looking forward to finding a new entertainment. Feeling humiliated, Roll exhaled heavily and leaned back, falling into the arms of the soft bed. The boy covered his body close to the neck with a blanket, then exhaled and asked Nora to stop, because he would go to sleep. Nora approached the boy's ear and, slightly lifting the corners of her lips, asked if it was really so difficult for him to just show her the maze, because they say that Queen Victoria herself once lived in this place. The girl pulled her skirt slightly, smiling slightly, said that if Roll still decides to go to bed, then everything is fine. However, Nora stated that she could not guarantee that nothing would happen to him during sleep. Hearing what the impudent princess said, Roll exhaled heavily. After a while, the two children found themselves in a large and elegant room full of tall bookshelves and sunlight coming in through tall windows. With quick steps, Roll approached a tall wooden chair with a fabric lining. The guy casually touched the handle of the chair and told Nora that specifically it was a chair on which Queen Victoria herself once sat. Disinterested, Roll approached the lamp that stood on the fireplace and said that this thing was a lamp that Queen Victoria had turned on in the past. While the boy gave the princess a little tour, she smiled calmly, but looked only at the Marquis' son. Walking around the room, Roll reached the bookshelves. The boy raised his hand and said that all these books were diaries left by his pont ancestor. Roll exhaled heavily and said that Nora could look through one of the diaries if she wanted to. The girl was amazed by the huge number of diaries, which is why she decided to ask why there are so many of them. Roll started pulling out one of the books with an ambiguous expression on his face, after which he said that these were only the diaries that he managed to save. The boy said that his relative Pont was very fond of adventures, and he must have recorded them in order not to forget. With light movements of his hands, Roll pulled out a neat notebook in a sky blue cover. The boy opened one of the pages of the diary, after which he began to read what Pont had once written, describing everything by day. Having finished reading the notes for the 14th of August, Roll closed the book and threw it on the table. The boy's face looked displeased, which had a strong effect on the strength of his throw. The boy no longer wanted to even touch this diary. The princess looked over Roll's shoulder and asked if something had happened. because earlier he himself had said that you need to be careful with these notes. The guy casually said that it was okay, because these are just stories, and there is nothing important there. Roll looked with disgust at the remaining shelves of diaries and wondered why it was necessary to write something so obscene at all. The guy thought that Queen Victoria didn't kill the man only. Her sky blue eyes, and then said that she was haunted by a strange feeling. Even more alert, the girl asked if Roll had a protective amulet with him. The boy pulled a smile. Asked if that was what she was talking about. Looking at his own stone, Roll added that lately he has not been parting with this amulet at all. A small stone is a protective stone of silk, a protective amulet capable of repelling evil attacks of all. Class master, and it was created by the great magician of the state of researchers of Bologna Silk. The girl looked sternly at the stone in Roll's hands, then in a tense tone asked the boy to hide the amulet away. Nora turned to the empty room and said that she couldn't explain it at all, but she had just felt something strange. The princess clenched her hand into a fist, after which she said that she could not leave the feeling that someone was watching them closely. The girl hesitantly said that there was a possibility that it was just her imagination, which made her awkwardly silent. Roll looked at the princess warily, then grabbed her small hand. The guy looked into Nora's eyes and said that he believed the girl. And something really happened, because it became too quiet, and there was no servant. The princess was taken aback, because she did not expect that Roll would really listen to her. The girl blushed a little, after which she asked in surprise what the boy had just said. Suddenly, Roll pulled the girl by the hand. The boy went on the run, keeping Nora with him, not leaving her in the tense room. He loudly explained that they needed to get into the vault, which is located in the central part of the maze, because it would be safest for them there. The princess was a little taken aback, however. She also ran after Roll until a slight blush appeared on her face. A stranger with azure hair covered with a cream-colored hat. The man smiled slyly and grinned, scattering a small space in the air as if it were a sheet of thin paper. The man walked into the room, continuing to smile. He, full of madness, declared that he had been discovered after all. Seeing the unknown man in front of them, Roll and the princess were very scared, continuing to run away from the stranger. At the same time, in one of the luxurious castles of the kingdom, a man with pleasant lilac hair smiled, congratulating the person on the upcoming holiday. The man turned to His Excellency Brian and greeted an old friend in a slightly nostalgic tone, recalling the prophecy did not come true. The man, continuing to drink his tea, said that that guy is a big problem for them, and he will remain it as long as he is alive, or is not on their side. Brian looked into his old friend's eyes and asked if they should try something again. The man with lilac hair looked at Brian through his forehead, then sighed and said that they would